This is CBT News special coverage of the 2023 NADA Show.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. Thanks so much for joining us. We're on day 3 here in Dallas, Texas for the NADA 2023 convention. We're joined by Devin Daly, who is the co-founder and CEO of a company called Impel. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here with you in Dallas.
Yeah, so tell us, for the people that are watching right now that are not as familiar with your company as we are here at CBT News, tell us a bit about Impel.
Absolutely. So Impel is an automotive digital engagement platform. We work with around 5,000 customers in roughly 52 countries.
Wow.
Our digital engagement platform is really centered around 2 main solutions or suites of solutions. One is our merchandising platform, which really helps replicate the in-store experience as closely as possible online. So we've got an immersive vehicle tour, a 360 kind of guided experience. We've got tagged hotspots, undercarriage images, damage tagging. We have feature merchandising. We also have F&I merchandising products that help bring visibility to F&I products earlier in the process. That all sort of encompasses our merchandising suite. Separately, in the last 2 years, we've extended into AI communications. And really what those solutions do is automate a lot of the more laborious sales activities at a dealership. So our Sales AI product responds to all leads 24 hours a day, answers questions, drives people down the funnel. Similarly, our Service AI product automates all of that outreach to create that bond of service loyalty. These 2 products together really help drive up engagement and really effectuate online commerce.
Wow, full suite of services. Will there be a need for a showroom in the future, or are we going to be able to just do this completely online?
Yeah, great question. I think certainly the experience will change over time, and I think we'll see a continued evolution towards online. Though I think omni-channel is the future, where more of the experience happens online, but you have an experience center in store, and having that consistency across multiple channels we think is really critical.
That's right. And dealers need those kinds of tools at their disposal today, right? I mean, otherwise they're going to miss the business.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I think if you're not using effective merchandising and your competitor is, or if you're reliant on a BDC that doesn't get back to people overnight for 8, 10, 12 hours, and your competitor does, guess what? That customer is going to go to the dealer that responds to them quickest.
That's right. So let's switch gears a little bit. We talked about your exciting funding announcement last time that you're on CBT News. What's been the reaction to that news?
It's been a ton of excitement, ton of buzz. Had a lot of, first off, very good press coverage with the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, both, picking up that news. And, in that NADA, we've had a huge amount of excitement and lots of, inbound from both large retailers, but also manufacturers, right? Manufacturers are starting to understand the importance of creating that kind of consistent customer experience and really establishing brand compliant protocols for communication at the tier 1 level, cascading those down to the tier 3 level.
That's right.
We've also seen the partner ecosystem is, approaching us, and they want to either integrate our merchandising into marketplaces, into digital retailing tools, or they want to use AI as a way to, again, convert leads to bona fide showroom traffic.
Right. And you just touched on it. I was going to ask you about that. We do see tier 1, sticking their toe in this whole sales process. We're looking at Ford now that's saying, well, we want to play more of a role. People, and so many other OEMs where they want to say you can order the car right from us and we'll drop ship it to your nearest dealership. Makes some dealers a little bit nervous on there, but at the same time, I think it might light a fire under a lot of dealers to say, hey, you got to get on with this stuff. If you own a dealership now, you don't have the luxury to put this stuff aside any longer, right?
Couldn't agree more. And we're seeing 2 trends with manufacturers, right? One is a lot of times they're recognizing that BDC communications in many cases are brand non-compliant. They're not following the mystery shop guidelines. They may be misspelling OEM features. They're not always using the customer's first name. Guess what? AI doesn't make those types of mistakes, right? It's perfectly brand compliant, always capitalizes and punctuates appropriately. Secondly, we're seeing manufacturers obviously with a focus towards driving subscription revenue. Right now, the communication around subscription revenue or subscriptions to consumers is really lacking or broken, right? I've had countless friends that they've got heated seats in their vehicle. One day they go out and the heated seats shut off. There was no communication. They didn't know who to call.
Crazy.
We can use AI to help these manufacturers drive more subscription revenue and stay in front of customers with that.
That is fantastic. So here we are, after a couple of days here at NADA. It's been a great turnout from dealers. Dealers are, walking around. There's 400 or 500 different solutions here and technologies and software that for them to look at. But what have you been hearing from some of the dealers that have come by the booth? What kind of conversations are you having?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think generally there is a focus from dealers on doing more with less. I think
Yeah.
dealers generally enjoyed, in some ways, operating with thinner staffing levels during COVID and when inventory was short. And
Right.
a lot of them, have come to this realization that, number one, it's going to be very difficult to hire people in perpetuity.
Sure.
And number two, that, again, they can be more profitable if they look to automation and AI to help them
right.
do more with less. So there's
Yeah.
a general, I think, acceptance of that notion. Beyond that, I think, there's also a focus around creating consistent experiences. So for dealer groups and OEMs alike,
Right.
trying to create that consistent customer experience across disparate locations all across the country
right.
is really definitely a focus area. And then third, I would say there's, in my mind, a shifting focus more towards service and service retention and service loyalty. Those have been some of the key trends that we've heard.
Okay, yeah, we're going to be hearing a lot more about the importance of service now, right? Especially as cars are starting to come back onto the lot, and we're going to see some gross profits starting to dip down. And you know, dealers, they look to other areas of the dealership, and obviously service has been doing good, but it's going to be a big focus on that. So you've talked a lot about your sales AI and service AI, which we just touched on, but and merchandising products. How do they work together, and what's the benefit to dealers in using a unified platform?
Yeah, you just touched on it there, right? I mean, we really think a key critical differentiator is having that cohesive suite of solutions integrated into one platform. And the reason for that is really around data and content sharing across the different activations. So a great example or manifestation of that would be if a customer is using our merchandising product, we can glean information about how that consumer's interacting with the vehicle. So I can tell that Jim's a performance buyer because he clicked on the engine photo 12 times and the turbocharger 7 times. When I then follow up with you via AI, so if you ask, is the vehicle available, 2 o'clock at Tuesday for a test drive, for example, we would actually tailor that AI response to say, yes, it's available. And by the way, did you happen to notice it has 455 horsepower and a twin turbocharger engine, knowing that you're a performance buyer. Similarly, we share content, right? So our 360 merchandising and our feature merchandising is integrated into the AI communication. So you're not just getting a response, yes, it has adaptive cruise control. You're actually getting a video from our feature library that articulates what that adaptive cruise control feature does.
While you're talking and pointing these amazing features out, I'm thinking I wouldn't want to be a competitor against somebody that's got your technology in their store. How do I compete? I mean, because if I'm reaching out and I'm a consumer, as you know they do, they go right from dealership to dealership, and who's ever getting them that information the quickest and the most accurate and the most detailed usually wins the deal. But if I've got a BDC operator doing that and I don't have an AI system like yours, I'm in trouble, right?
Absolutely, right? So, I mean, I think it's not only that, in my mind, the AI can save a lot of time and also respond a lot more timely, right? Like, I mean, a classic question or request that a customer will have is, can you send me photos? Can you send me photos of the interior? The AI can deliver that back in a minute. If you think about the time savings benefit versus having a BDC go download those images, upload them in. I mean, you're talking probably 20 minutes in time savings. So there's certainly an operational efficiency benefit. Secondly, I think just generally from an experience standpoint, most BDC agents aren't injecting all of that rich information, aren't responding as quickly, probably aren't personalizing the message as much as the AI is.
Yeah, for sure. And as I said, the first thing that comes to mind too is expense, because to have somebody that does that, just a human having to do that, that's a lot of money. That's $40, $50, $60, $70,000 a year or more with benefits. And if you're able to, do it without that and do it quicker and do it better, it's not even a question of having a machine handle that, but it's actually a much better job than if you have a human doing it.
I was out with a dealer last night, and he's a customer of ours, and he was speaking to another dealer, and he said, the AI is less than the cost of a human, and it never takes a break, works 24 hours a day, doesn't get COVID, doesn't take smoke breaks. Exactly, always a great attitude, absolutely.
You want a culture now you got to think about a culture in your dealership among the AI. Is the AI happy?
Always.
But that's a nice problem to have, right? Absolutely. So today's dealers have so many systems and technologies. We're just talking about a lot of them, but oftentimes aren't connected to each other. And I know that's something that you kind of pride yourself on with your product. How does Impel's digital engagement platform work together with other systems that the dealer might be using? That seems to be still a thorn in the side of many dealers.
Sure, absolutely, right? And that's been a key focus of ours, is building out that ecosystem of integrations, right? As a prior software investor, it was a kind of generally accepted notion that the highest customer satisfaction products were those that had the highest number of integrations. So for the last several years, we've really had a dedicated focus again on building out that network of integrations. We're proud to say we now integrate with more than 100 technology providers in the US. And so what that means, right, is we integrate with all the CRM systems, all the dealer websites, many of the third-party marketplaces. And so a dealer doesn't need to log into our system. It's directly integrated into their CRM. They don't want another login. They don't want another dashboard, right? That's consistent.
Don't say dashboard to a dealer.
Exactly.
They'll kill you with the dashboard.
No doubt. And one other point I would make on that is, from a marketplace standpoint, right, we've really focused on building out exclusive integrations with a lot of the third-party marketplaces, wherein if a competitor tries to sell into a customer a merchandising solution that competes with ours, it only functions on the dealer's home website, whereas if they work with us, it syndicates to all of the major third-party marketplaces, which we view as a real competitive differentiation. So our last point I'd make on that is, because we focused on integrating throughout the ecosystem, it also has a real benefit for our data asset, because we can tell not just how you interacted with the vehicle on a dealer's home website, but you started here on cars.com and this is how you interacted, and then you came to the dealer's site, and then you went back to the OEM website, and then you ended up back in the dealer's site. So we can really track not only what you are, what profile you are as a consumer, but how far down in the buyer journey you are.
Sure. So if we were sitting here 5 years from now, what does Impel look like? I mean, what are you looking to just enhance the suite of services over time?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's really two things. I think it's using AI to manage all customer communications throughout the life cycle. So selling the vehicle, more sophisticated CSI surveying. We think there's a big opportunity, I think I touched on previously, with accessories and F&I to sell those post-purchase, creating that bond of service loyalty, and then ultimately actually acquiring the vehicle, really using AI to manage that whole life cycle. The second area, right, is we're really building out performance management to help be partners and consultants to dealers as they move towards more technology-enabled businesses. Again, it's our firm belief that dealerships will become less human capital intensive and more automation, AI, technology enabled, and we think our performance managers can be at the side of dealer groups as they effectuate that transition.
That's right. Dealers that are listening to us have this discussion. This is the future. AI will be running your dealership. If it isn't already to some extent, this is something that you don't want to push away from and be afraid of. This is something that you not only want to embrace, but you better get into in a very big way. This is the future. The future is here now. I know you've heard that statement before, but it's true. I mean, these things will save you money, sell you more cars, do it quicker and better than any human can do it. So why would you not look into this? So, we want to be bringing you these solutions here at CBT News. Impel, a leader in this field, and that's why we're so excited to have you spend some time with us, Devin, here at CBT News, because last time you were on, we got a lot of text messages, friends of mine that are in the industry that have dealerships go, get that guy back on again. We need to hear more, but so thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great, thanks.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching our special coverage of the 2023 NADA show. Join the #1 most watched newscast in the automotive industry. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today.